You're watching America Trends. I'm Mary Burt-Godwin, and I always enjoy having our next guest on the show. You know, our audience, you're mostly business owners, entrepreneurs, people that have to deal with customers all the time. And this is what our next guest is, an expert in customer service relations. Chief Amazement Officer is what he likes to call himself, and we love him. Shep Hyken, welcome back. Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year to you. Great to be back. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to see you. Did you have a good holiday?
It was an amazing holiday. There were some definite customer service issues for many of the travelers.
Yes.
As I saw when I was at the airport, but I would imagine that might be part of what we talk about today.
Absolutely. I could not wait, actually. I was reading all the headlines. I did not travel, like I think a very smart human being. I stayed home in my cozy little home, but and I watched all of the, the images of the suitcases everywhere and the travelers stuck. And the biggest thing that I saw in the headlines was Southwest Airlines. So I really wanted to bring this up because of their history with customer service in the past. And I have my own take on it, but I wanted to hear from your perspective, especially if you did travel, what you were thinking during all of that.
Sure. Well, I'm not going to tell you the name of the airline that I fly on, but let's just call it AA for Anonymous Airlines.
Okay.
And actually, they take great care of me. That's American Airlines. I joke about that. I also love Southwest. And Southwest, you know what? They have a PR nightmare on their hands. However, I predict the way they handle this little nightmare is going to turn it into a great opportunity for them to show the world that, hey, we really are an airline that's focused on taking care of our customers. Here's what happened, the way I see it. They admitted an antiquated system, if you want to call it that, a system that isn't going to allow them to move planes the way other airlines do because of they call it, the traditional airline is having a hub. They have multiple hubs, and the way they move people around is far different than what the typical large airline does. That's number one. So they ran into problems because this was a really weird weather pattern. It really impacted the entire U.S. Number two, the excuse that they gave everybody was probably a very truthful excuse, but it lost a lot of customer confidence. This is what I know. More than 80% of customers trust a company because of the great service they provide. If Southwest does what is said they will do, which is reimburse people for their travel expenses that were out of pocket as a result of the airline faux pas, they will restore the confidence in the service side of what they do. And in a very short time, it will all come back to normal.
Yeah, so I agree with all of that. And I was thinking when it was all happening, number one, Southwest Airlines, it's been a trusted airline in my view for, I don't even know how many years they've been around for a long time. And I had to book while it was all in the middle. They had grounded all the flights, 5,000 to 8,000 flights. I was booking travel for the upcoming spring dates for some travel I had to do. And I was booking Southwest Airlines. And
How
I thought,
did you feel about that?
Should I be doing this? And I thought, you know what? Yeah, because I have that much confidence that they are going to pull through this in many ways. Whatever they need to do to update their system, they're going to do. Whatever they need to do to help their customers and satisfy them in the way. I mean, they can't. Look, a lot of brides and grooms didn't make it to the wedding. I mean, I read one article where it was somebody didn't make his transplant. So it was like a life and death situation. So some of those people we can't necessarily make up for. But like you said, they made a hub. They made an online portal where people would go and say, how much did you have to incur in hotel fees? And they are really doing whatever they can to make it up financially. They can't obviously make up for the lost time and time without loved ones, but that's how much I trust this brand, so they've done the work.
Smart. Yeah, I think it's smart because there's a couple of reasons why. Number one, they are a good airline that's very focused on their passenger, their customer, if you will. And that is very, very important to understand. They have been perhaps the most profitable airline of all airlines, quarter after quarter, with very few, if any, miss. Maybe one or two quarters in the worst part of our economy did they not hit their numbers the way they expected. There's a reason for that, because passengers like to fly on them. They will continue to do so because I believe the planes are safe. It's just a matter of getting the system up to date. And now they have a fire underneath them to do so. To the point of people missing weddings and even medical emergencies, there were weather patterns that would have prevented, and it did. Many airlines did have to cancel some of their flights, not as many as Southwest, but there were alternatives that could have been made with other airlines if necessary and possible. Wasn't always capable. I've been in Chicago when they shut down the airport, my airport and the destination's airport. It didn't matter what airline I was on. Both airports were shut down because of weather. We can't forget that fact. There was a weather pattern. It wasn't just Southwest saying, oh, we're canceling flights for no reason at all.
Right. And so, yeah, and to that point, to going back to the brand, recognition, and also just the trust, the know, like, and trust factor, right? Which is what people talk about, brands talk about that. And Southwest Airlines has done that, in my eyes, for me when I've flown them. And even the way that they are on social media, let's say, they have personality, they have heart, actual literally heart in their logo. But I can tell that there's humans running that brand and the way they are on social media. And so I went to their social media. It took a while for them to post, which is something I want to talk about a little later on. But, I knew that they were going to address it in a very human way. And I think that they did that.
Yeah, it's a good airline. They have good people. They have safe planes. My opinion is it's never been a better time to book a Southwest airline flight as it is right now, because they are acutely aware of what they have to do to regain the confidence of their customers.
And I want to pull up a couple. Like I said, I went to their Instagram post and we showed that a second ago. And then there were some comments. I took a screenshot of some of the comments that people were making, because some people were slamming them, saying, okay, you're too late offering all this money or whatever. But there were people that were saying a lot of the same things I'm saying. Can't wait for y'all to recover and rebound from this unfortunate situation. And then I love this one. Southwest Airlines need to be given much grace. You all have done so many things so well for so many years when other airlines did not. How can we help and support you? Which I thought was interesting.
I love that passenger.
Yeah, right? Always has been, always be my favorite. They made up their own hashtag for this situation. But so I guess that's just going to show, because I was feeling that, and then I saw it in all the comments, and 8,000 plus comments. People were echoing that sentiment. So anyway, I guess I wanted to really focus on the fact that what they've been doing right for so many years, what you talk about, is putting customers first, being authentic, the things that we really encourage businesses to do. And I feel like it will help them through this in the long run.
Yeah, no doubt. I reflect back on what Herb Kelleher, their first CEO, said many years ago. He called it a conundrum, if you will. And that was when somebody said, who's more important, the passenger, the stakeholders, stockholders, if you will, or the employees? And he thought about it for a moment. And then he said, you know what? I'm going to go with the employees, because if the employees, if we make them happy, they're going to do a great job and make our customers, the passenger, happy. And when the passengers are happy, they're going to fly on us again, and that's going to make our stakeholders happy.
Yep.
And it wasn't a conundrum at all. He focused on taking care of employees who would take care of customers. And I know there were a lot of empathetic and caring gate agents and flight attendants and other personnel at the airline that, they were in a really uncomfortable and frustrating place, but they did the best that they could. And I do admit and agree with the person who did say that it took a little long. I would have liked to have seen Southwest respond a little bit quicker, but at the same time, they had to make sure they had everything lined up. Their ducks were in a row. They knew what they had to do, because what they didn't want to do is make a promise they had to go back on.
Right. And I was thinking that same thing. I agree that I was kind of going to their feed a few times saying, okay, where's their statement? Where's their statement? But then I saw the platform that they had come up with, their online portal, where they were asking people to put in their information. And that takes a lot of time to get that organized. And so they probably didn't want to jump the gun and say something before they knew what they had. But I do think we've talked about this as when there is a crisis, which this certainly was, coming out and saying, hey, we know there's a crisis, and thank you for being patient while we work on it on our end, or something, so that everyone, I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is there.
Well, here's the 5-step. Here's Shep's 5
steps.
steps.
Yes, tell me.
Number one, acknowledge that there's a problem,
Yeah.
which they did. Apologize for it, which they did. Discuss the resolution, which they said they were going to do, but it let you know at least they were thinking about it. They did not set out and say, hey, it was all the weather's fault. They accepted responsibility. It was a step 4 is to own it. They even said, hey, we've got an old system we need to work on. And number 5, they acted pretty urgently. I mean, within reason, I would say within a few days, we knew what they planned to do.
Yeah.
Sure, in the moment, you wish you can get immediate action, but that's not always possible. But within a few days, they did. They set up a digital system which allows you to not have to wait on hold.
Right.
To put in your information,
which takes
so that
time.
they can take care of you. That alone says, hey, we're not going to hide behind 4-hour-long waits
Right.
and you getting so frustrated you hang up and just give up on them.
Speaking of that, we got to make our audience wait to hear more because we got to take a quick break. But I have more questions for you. I think you called your steps Sheps, which I love. But anyway, we'll be right back with more America Trends and Shep Hyken right after this quick break.